Hello everyone and welcome back to another financial planning video. My name is Erin Varghese and I am a financial planner here at Pure Portfolios. In today's video, we are going to be talking all about pension options, what they are, and how you can choose the optimal pension option for your financial plan. So first, what are your pension options? Under a defined pension plan, retirees have the option to opt for either an annuity or a lump sum payment. The annuity might be in the form of monthly or annual payments, and the lump sum is often rolled over into a traditional IRA or taken as cash. In general, annuities tend to be the preference for investors who believe they are going to outlive the average life expectancy. This is because they are confident that they are going to receive extra payments monthly or annually over and above what the lump sum would have paid out. Now, a lump sum may be a good option for those who potentially have health issues or just believe for one reason or another that they are not going to outlive the average life expectancy. You can rest assured knowing that you've gotten the lump sum and that even if you do pass early, you have the cash kind of in hand. So there's some soft stuff that you do have to consider outside of just the cold hard numbers. It's not a black and white decision. So here are some things that you should consider or think about when choosing your pension options. Number one is the age difference between you and your beneficiary, typically your spouse. If you are several years older or have reason to believe that they will outlive you for a number of years, choosing an option with a survivor benefit might be the best option for you. Number two is to think about other forms of income that could go away if you were to pass. If you and your spouse or partner rely heavily on the income that you have coming in, like Social Security, pensions, other forms of income in retirement, and don't have much else in terms of retirement savings and investments, choosing a pension option again with a survivor benefit might be a good option for you. You want to keep in mind all the different forms of income that you have and understand what happens if you pass away. Do your survivors or your beneficiaries receive any income after you're gone? The third thing to keep in mind is your personal feelings about investing, the markets, and just having a form of regular income. Oftentimes before retirement, you have 2, maybe 3 different forms of income, and after you retire, some retirees have 7, 8, 9 plus forms of income. If you really enjoy and like having that steady stream of income coming in each month, a pension option may be right for you, even if the cold hard numbers don't really reflect that. There's something to be said about peace of mind in retirement, even if a lump sum option would potentially be the more optimal option if you don't have beneficiaries or heirs to leave that lump sum to, if there's any left after you pass. Having a regular form of income may just make you feel more comfortable. Number 4 on our list of soft things to consider before making a pension option decision is to think about your spending habits. You know yourself better than anyone else, and if having a lump sum come in causes you to change your spending habits, then taking the annuity may be the best option. Keep in mind that the day you retire is the day your money needs to last the longest, and for some people, seeing that lump sum deposited into their IRA or into cash can create this sense of security or abundance that they can go out and spend more than what they may normally have done in the past. So understand your spending habits, know what you would do with that money, have a plan before taking that lump sum, but it's just another thing to keep in mind. Now let's get into the annuity and the numbers. I'm going to pop an example up on the screen here and talk with you through some of these different pension options. So the single life annuity in this example pays out $29,700 a year. With a single life annuity, you'll get your regular monthly payments, each month, of course, adding up to that $29,700. But when you pass, the income goes away. Your beneficiaries don't get anything else. There's no survivorship benefit. Once you pass, the annuity is done. With the next option, single life with 10-year certain term, you typically get a little bit less than just the single life annuity option. So in this case, it's $29,000 a year. Similar to the single life annuity option, when you pass, that income goes away along with you. However, there is a 10-year certain term that if you pass, let's say 5 years after taking your annuity option, your beneficiaries would continue to receive that income for another 5 years. With the 50% joint and survivor options, in this case it's $26,500, you can see that these are decreasing with each option. When you pass, your survivors actually continue the income. However, they would receive 50% of your regular income. So in this case, on a monthly basis, you would be receiving $2,208, and after you pass, your beneficiaries would receive half, and that would be $1,104. I'm sure you're seeing a trend by now, but with the 100% joint and survivor annuity option, again, it's less than any of the other options before, and that's because when you pass, your income continues 100% as much as you have received for your beneficiaries. So in this case, you were receiving $2,041 and some change each month. Your beneficiaries after you pass would continue that until they pass. So tying it back to some of our soft stuff, this is one of those times when you would want to consider the age difference between you and your beneficiary. If you are, say, 10, 15, 20 years older than your spouse and have reason to believe that you will outlive them, it may be a good option to select the 100% survivorship annuity option. This is because if you pass 10, 15, 20 years before your spouse, they will continue to receive that income for their lifetime. Last but not least, we have our lump sum payment option, and in this exercise, it is $443,000. So at first blush, you might look at these and think, I could receive $2,000 to $3,000 a month, or I could receive almost $500,000 today. And it's hard to make that distinction just looking at the numbers, which one would be most advantageous for you. So one, we need to keep in mind the soft stuff, things to consider before making that option. But how do we actually compare the numbers? So we're going to go through the calculation with you today. So pull out your financial calculator. This is considered a time value of money calculation. So what we're really trying to do here is find what the present value of your annuity cash flow payments would be. In this case, we are going to be comparing the single life annuity to the lump sum. So we're going to be using our client Catherine as an example. Catherine is currently 64 years old, and we have to make some projections and assumptions about her life and how this money is going to be reinvested. So we'll test it a few different ways, but because Catherine is 64, we are estimating that she will live until she's 90 years old. That means she will receive 26 more payments from her annuity each year. Then we also have to assume a return assumption, and this is where we can start to play around with the numbers. As always, on our return assumptions, we want to be conservative because if we put 10, 15, 20% as a return assumption, everything would be sunshine and rainbows. But unfortunately, we know that that is not the case. So we are going to use 3%, 4%, and 5% for our different tests. So we'll key in the numbers here. Make sure you always clear your calculator. We are going to be using 26 as N in our calculator because that is the number of periods or payments, 26 years of payments we'll receive. We are going to first use 4% as our return assumption or our interest rate. 4% goes in for IY. We are looking for our present value, so we'll calculate that in a second. For our payment, we are going to be using the annual payment amount. Don't forget to annualize the payment, even though you'll be receiving it monthly, most likely. So for our single life annuity, we are receiving $29,700. So that $29,700 will go in our payment. We have a 0 for our future value, and then we'll go ahead and calculate our present value. So the present value of the future payments of a single life annuity at $29,700 a year, assuming a 4% interest rate, would be equal to $474,688. So we compare that to our lump sum option, which is $443,000. Because at a 4% interest rate, the amount of annuity payments that we would receive over our lifetime exceeds the lump sum, we would opt to choose for the single life annuity. Now, let's check 5% and 6% as our return assumption. So because your calculator remembers everything, there's not much else that you have to do to rerun these assumptions. So we're going to go ahead and click 5% for our interest rate, and then we can calculate present value again. This time around, we get $426,943. So using 5% as a return assumption gives us a lower present value of our annuity options. We know that taking the lump sum would then be more advantageous. So let's quickly just try it again with 6%. Again, that number is going to be even lower. Now it comes in at $386,194. So what all of these calculations tell us is that if we can achieve at least a 5% return, taking a lump sum is going to be a better option. Now, of course, there's a lot of unknowns that go into this pension option. How much can you receive in a return assumption? It's an unknown. We don't know. How long are you going to live? It's a wild card. You don't know. So in order to come to a conclusion about which pension option you should take, run through the calculations, see what the black and white numbers say, and maybe clear and obvious which option you should take just given that. But also don't forget about the soft stuff, because sometimes the numbers just don't matter and you have to do what makes sense to you. Okay, we'll wrap up our video on which pension option should I take. I hope that you learned something from this video. But as always, if you have questions, you can leave them at insight@pureportfolios.com. We would love to chat with you and help you make better financial decisions. Thanks for watching, thanks for reading, and we'll see you in the next one.